Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be testing out cheap versus expensive reusable pads. Can you guess which is which? The past year I've really trying to become a little bit more eco-friendly with my life. I'm not like super eco-friendly, but I figured if there's small changes I can make to help improve the world, why not make some of those? So for example, I've been using reusable makeup pads to take off my makeup. I've started using reusable straws, and I thought one of the biggest contributors to waste that I personally do are pads and tampons. Now, a little bit about my period before we get on, and a disclaimer, you might see some blood stains in this video, so if that does not sound appealing to you, maybe stop watching now, because things happen when you wear pads and bleed on pads, like blood gets on them. So anyway, my period used to be incredibly heavy, and I would get killer cramps, like can't get out of bed cramps, until I started birth control. Birth control has helped me a lot. I was on the birth control pill, but now I'm actually on the birth control patch. And before I switched to the patch, while I was still on the pill, sometimes I wouldn't get my period for like a few months. When I did get it, it would be super light. Now that I'm on the patch, it's back. It's regular, which is nice. It's back, but it's a lot less heavy than it used to be, and I get virtually like no cramps. Thank God. So please keep in mind that my period routine will be for a very light flow. Usually lasts about 5 days. If your flow is different, definitely leave us comments down below and let us know how you deal with your period. Let's investigate these pads. February 2019, I went onto Amazon and I looked for reusable pads. And I picked up these. These are called the Kerr 11.8 inches bamboo reusable sanitary pads pack of 10. And I have 10 here. Washable menstrual cloth sanitary pads with bamboo charcoal absorbency, random color. And as you can see, they are just a long rectangle. They have two little snaps. The part that touches your body is like micro fleecy, and the other side is like this kind of, it feels waterproof. It almost feels like a swimsuit, but not stretchy. They say it's an outer waterproof PUL material, and so they just snap onto your panties. You'll wear them for as long as you want to wear them, and then when you're done with it, you just kind of fold it up and stash it to get washed later. Just like so. So these 10 pads cost me about 40 Canadian dollars. Got free shipping, so 40 bucks for 10 pads. That seems like a really good deal to me, and I was testing them out and wearing them. I did like the random patterns. In January 2020, so just a few months ago, I was browsing online and I saw this brand called Hannapad on Instagram advertising reusable pads, and these look a lot more like a classic pad. They've got the patterned backside and this like just white material on the front. These are all clean, but some of them have stains, as you can see. And instead of having two snaps, it just has the one snap, and it's got a little tag at the top. The care, the size, and how to take care of it. So Hannapad is a Canadian company, which I like. These pads are actually made in Korea, and they feel quite a bit different than the other side. So I got 11 pads from Hannapad, but instead of all being the same size, I actually got 3 different sizes. So it came with 3 small sizes, which are kind of like a panty liner, 5 regular ones or mediums, and then 3 overnight pads, which are like super big. And you can see they also have different patterns, but when I purchased them, all 5 of the medium ones have the same pattern. All 3 of the small ones have this pattern, and all 3 of the overnight ones have this pattern. So you can really easily tell apart which is which. They're also a little bit different than the other ones because they look kind of more like a traditional pad. so kind of right where you need it the most. They have a line of stitching and then another line of stitching, so I'm guessing the absorbency gets like weaker as you get to the outside of the pad, and so it's thickest kind of in the middle and not super thick at the very outsides. Again, you kind of snap it around your panties and wear it for the day, and then at the end of the day or the night, because this one is the overnight one, again you fold it up and you stick it in your laundry or whatever you're gonna do to actually like clean it up. This set of 11 pads retails for 202 Canadian dollars, so not cheap at all. I got them on sale and they were only $182 for 11 little pads, which is incredibly expensive. Kind of get into the pros and cons of each one. So one thing that's really nice about the Hannapad one is, I'm not sure you'll be able to see, but there's actually like textured little beads of something on them. It feels like plasticky basically. So the fabric doesn't feel plasticky, but there's just little beads, little circles of grip, so that these really grip to your underwear so they're not like sliding around. Whereas this one is super slippery. So one of the problems I had when I was wearing this style of pad is it would get twisted. You'd basically be wearing it like upside down, and it was really hard to control like keeping it where it should be. Another thing you'll notice is it's like perfectly symmetrical. So when you stick it in, there's like the same amount on the front and the back, which like, depending how you attach them to your panties, doesn't really make sense. Whereas Hannapad, it's less apparent on this one, but there's actually less material at the front and a little bit more at the back. So it's not perfectly symmetrical. So when you put it on your panties, like, there's a little less at the front and a little bit more at the back, which is super apparent with the nighttime ones. Like, these are not a symmetrical pattern. They're much more like ergonomically correct. And they definitely do not get twisted as much or like kind of stick up from your underwear in like awkward ways. Another thing about these ones is you can see they have the dark fabric. One thing it's kind of hard to see, like, have I started bleeding? How much am I bleeding? What's going on down there, kind of. But the good thing is you can't see anything, so it doesn't really get stained. Like, you're not gonna gross anybody out with them. Whereas like these ones, you do get a little bit of staining. You can clearly see what has come out of you. You can definitely see how much you're bleeding, and like that might be gross, that might be cool. Personally, I don't mind seeing a little bit of blood just so you can kind of gauge like, is my period over yet or not? But definitely something to be mindful of, especially like if your partner is gonna be seeing them, like they might get a little bit stained. And I'm sure if you're like super on top of it, you can clean them up to perfection, so every time you use them they're like brand spanking new, but I'm not that person. After having wear tested these for months and months, I can definitely say that these cheap ones, like, I'm basically going to either be reusing them, using the fabric for something else, or basically donating them. Like, I really dislike them. I'm sure you can get other really cheap reusable pads that don't suck this much, but these ones were really disappointing. In fact, the Amazon listing isn't even active anymore since last year. So I don't know if they got like discontinued or what, but I would say save your money if you're looking at something kind of similar to this versus these Hannapad ones, which they feel like a nice quality. You paid a lot for them. They're still going strong. I could see myself using these for years and years. So even though it is an incredibly expensive investment, I still think that I'm going to get my money's worth out of these as opposed to these guys. So in conclusion, I would not recommend these cheap Amazon very symmetrical, like there's more to a pad than just a tangle with wings, and I feel like Hannapad has definitely made a much superior product. And if it came down to it, I would definitely repurchase the Hannapad pads before I repurchased the kind of no-name Amazon pad. These ones I was rewashing in the machine, like machine wash. It was no problem. They held up really well. Hannapads are machine washable, but they say don't dry them, and they would really recommend if you hand wash them. So when I purchased my little thing, because I do so much sewing, I thought, well, they're offering this cute little drying rack, so I'm gonna like go for it. And I also picked up some hand washing supplies on Amazon just so I could be really prepared to take care of these incredibly expensive pads that are definitely gonna get dirty, you know, like these, there's no question about it, these are meant to get dirty. So let me walk you through my routine. When my period first starts up, obviously I go with the little liner pads. Also, I will use these at the end of my period when my flow is like just about gone, but not quite. And they're a really nice size, very comfortable to wear. I definitely forget when I have them on. They have that same, now you can see it a little bit better on this fabric, but you see these little like flowers, not the leaves, but the flowers. Those are the like textured little grip things, and they grip really nicely, help things from sliding around. The tag is always on the top of the pad, so when you put it down you know which way is facing forward. On these pads it doesn't matter quite as much because they're just so tiny, but I have 3 of these little pads. Then I have 5 of the regular medium everyday size. Again, you can see the top is a little bit shorter than the back, which is a little bit longer. They still have the hanging tags, so you can just like clip them up to dry or know which way you're putting them on. But yeah, we got 5 of those all in the same pattern. And again, you can kind of see they have the grippy fabric. And last of all, I have 3 of the super big overnight pads. These are massive pads. They definitely would not be comfortable to wear during the day, but at night it's nice to have such a large pad if you're like move a lot when you sleep or you're just worried about leakage. Basically, these are kind of a good security to prevent any leakage from happening. And these ones don't have the grippy fabric, so I'm not sure if that was a comfort choice or what, or if it's something about this pattern, but no grippy flowers on the back of their large nighttime pads. Normally I just keep them in this ColourPop box that I got a while ago, and I do keep them divided by size. So my one set of 11 pads fits really nicely in this ColourPop order-sized box, and I just stashed this kind of in the laundry room which is super close to my bathroom, so I can just grab one when I need it, and it's always nice and close on hand. Also picked up the little pouch that you can transport your pads in, so if you're at work or something, it's like a little waterproof bag, so you're not grossing anybody else, and so the smell's all contained. So I will just, these would obviously be pre-folded once you take them off. The bag is also divided, so you can keep dirty pads on one side and clean pads on the other, so it's kind of like everything you need is all right there. And I do feel like when you fold them up, they're very well sealed, so like no grossness is really gonna get out of them. But there you go. So you've got your day's worth of dirty pads, so you could throw these in the laundry. Personally, I found that hand washing has worked really well for me because we maybe do laundry like once a week for the 2 of us, me and Doug. So we're not doing laundry like every night. And during my period, I only have 3 overnight pads. So what I will do instead is I picked up some hand washing supplies from Amazon. So this is a little basin that you can stick in your sink, and it's basically my little like wash bucket. So I fill it up with not hot water, not cold water, just kind of like cool water is what they recommend, as well as some hand washing liquid. So this is by the brand Soak, and the reason that I was attracted to it was because you don't need to rinse it. So literally you just soak your stuff overnight and then hang it up to dry, and then you're good. No agitation, no nothing. I really like it a lot. And basically I use a bit of a capful into a bucket of cool water. And they say this one bottle will give you like 75 washes like that. So I will grab all my pads, stick them into my wash buckets. Usually I do this in the kitchen because we have a tiny apartment and this basin doesn't fit in the washroom sink. So you could do this in the shower though too. You could pretty much do it anywhere. So I throw everything, including the bag, into the wash and just let that soak overnight. I come back the next morning. I will, if they still look a little stained, I'll just give them a little bit of agitation, see if I can't take off anything remaining that will come up. And then I also got this little hanger from Hannapad. It was like $6. So I just hang them up to dry and stick that in the shower because again we don't have a really great place to dry clothes in our little apartment. So I'm just gonna continue hanging these up. So I'll do this every night during my period, and sometimes I'll even like wash the pair of panties that I wore that day because, like, let's face it, I do have a few pairs of panties that I like less than other panties, and those tend to be designated as the period panties. So then I know the next day I'll also have a really nice clean pair of panties to be washed, ready to be worn, and the cycle just continues. So really, if you wash them every night like that, just having like 5 pads is really more than enough. And having, like, when I first got them, I was worried that 11 wouldn't be enough pads. But I think once you get into the reusable lifestyle, you kind of start to realize, like, how little of everything you actually need. And this thing also folds up really nice in case you're not using it. So that is a look at my little reusable period pad routine. Again, I would really recommend you check them out. I will have a link to Hannapad and my Amazon listing if you want to do some investigating on your own. I'll also link the basin and the hand washing liquid. My Amazon links are affiliate links, but my Hannapad link will not be an affiliate link. I'm not associated with them at all. So do what you will with that information. And again, I would highly, highly, highly recommend that if you're looking to be a little bit more environmentally friendly, why not check out reusable period pads? There's really no downside effect, aside from the fact that I guess Douglas may be more aware of my period now because he can see the laundry. But so far, he's been pretty cool about it, pretty chill about it. So again, maybe talk to your partner if you think it might be an issue. But overall, so much less product goes into the waste. I'm feeling good about it, they're comfortable to wear, and I think it was a really good investment. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below for more beauty content from me. I put out new beauty videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and I will see you in the next beauty video. Bye!